My name is Kody Louderback. I'm currently a client with Shawnee Counseling Center. I've completed the 3.5 program and I'm in 2.5 residential to partial hospitalization. This is my second time through the program. I completed a year ago, made it 4 months and fell off, came back, and I'm doing better than I ever have. The program is very individualized. You have a connection with the staff, and the dynamics of the house as a whole are as a family basis. The way that the guys come together to support one another are like a family. Shawnee Counseling Center is a family. And to have that as a foundation for your recovery and just for life, it builds a support system for you that's important and crucial for you. So growing up, I was raised by a single grandmother who had me and two older brothers. We were put in all kinds of activities for sports, music, school, church camp, Boy Scout camp, as much extracurriculars as we could want. We didn't have any need for anything. Being in an area like this, being engaged in activities as a young person, as a child, as a youth, I come to build relationships with people that some have crumbled throughout my addiction and through my troubled teenage years and early adulthood, and some relationships have stood strong. I went to public school through elementary school, and I had behavioral issues. I was in mental health counseling and taking medication at a young age. At the age of 4, I believe, I was diagnosed with ADHD, and they started medicating me and having me in activities with the facility. Into my teenage years, I started to rebel, and my behavioral issues caused me to be asked to leave the Portsmouth City Schools, the public school system. When I went to my high school, it was a private Catholic high school, things kind of changed for me. I started to have less worry about what I was going to wear for school the next day because my options were smaller. And instead of taking my attention and energy into focusing on my education or getting good grades, I was worried about how I acted, how I behaved. I was more focused on a persona or a reputation as a person than I was my actual future. And my behaviors ended up leading me to go through my private high school for four years, and then my senior year, I went to the vocational school. While at vocational school, I was expelled for behavioral reasons, and I had to join an online school called Southern Ohio Academy. At this time, I had just turned 18, and it's my senior year, and I remember my grandmother handing me the keys to her car and asking me to pull it into the garage. I didn't do that. I went and took it for a joyride, and I ended up getting arrested as an adult for the first time. I went to jail. The charge was grand theft auto. And they knew that I was already drinking and smoking weed and experimenting with some prescription pills. My family works in treatment, so they instantly had someone there to come get me. I did maybe 8 days in jail, and then I went to rehab, inpatient for the first time. Well, after 30 days, they found out that I had behavioral issues or that I wasn't mature enough to be in the program. So they discharged me, and I continued to do treatment via the courts at an outpatient program. This is, mind you, at 18. All my schooling is online. I only have to go to school 1 day a week. And the other days of the week, I wasn't putting my energy or focus into school. I was busy trying to run around with friends and meet girls or be the next hot thing. And that kind of impacted me in a way that I didn't realize at the time, and it limited me to my school, my grades. Yeah, I was busy focusing on my reputation and my persona in the community, and not necessarily in the good way. The moment I realized I had a problem with drugs or alcohol was probably 4 or 5 years ago. I think I remember being in jail, wondering how I got there, thinking, why did I do this? Why did I not follow the rules or just obey the law? Or, or why did I not just listen to my teachers or my grandmother or my pastor or some of my friends? Why didn't I just listen to them? And I didn't know at the time that what I was doing was essentially self-medicating, or that I was trying to numb feelings from my childhood or my abandonment issues. I didn't know at the time that I had codependency. When I realized that using drugs was a form of self-medicating and at the same time self-harm, I really thought about what I was doing in life. I had what's called emotional dysregulation at the time. My body's chemical balance in my brain was out of whack. And I would like to think that it's from years of ADHD medication growing up, but at the same time also never learning how to process my feelings and how to act accordingly, or even just the want or the drive, the desire to behave, the the internal compass that made me act out or lash out or behave a certain way to get attention. The moment sunk in like I thought my heart was going to be ripped out through my stomach. I thought, this is it. My life is going down the drain. And it hasn't. There was a very physical feeling attached to those emotions in that moment and at that time. I vaguely remember walking up to the phone in the jail to make a call out, and I realized I had people to call, but I didn't know what I was going to say if they picked up the phone. They surely wouldn't be surprised that I was in there. They, some people would probably even be relieved to know where I was at, or to know that I was somewhere, not wonder where I'm at or if I'm okay. Moments come from time to time when I'm wanting to contact a friend or a family member, and I go to reach for the phone, and I think back to that moment. What am I going to say to them now with where I'm at versus what was I going to say then? So I've damaged personal relationships with friends, with family. I've lost a marriage due to addiction. I've lost both of my parents early on to addiction. Not really so much my fault. For the most part, I've damaged my relationships. I haven't really lost them. Most of the people that were important to me are still there. Tragedy strikes, and there's death within the circle of friends or close family, but those people that are gone, that have either overdosed or passed away due to health problems, they're still with me. Watching my cousin Anthony go through organ failure over a 8-month period was something that I will is something I will remember for a long time. I remember walking into the apartment to see him, and I was told that he was dying, that he had received the news of having 6 months to live, roughly. One of the words that came out of his mouth was, "Can you get me a gun?" And he wanted to go to the woods and shoot himself. And he said these words to me: "I wish we had more time." I'm going to refer to the treatment center here, Shawnee Counseling Center. Thanks to Shawnee Counseling Center, I have more time. But hearing him say, "I wish we had more time," stays in my mind pretty frequent. Legal consequences landed me here. My involvement with the courts in my past, they already knew that I had addiction problems. So once in trouble, they told me to get an assessment to see where I was at or how I was doing. And after the assessment, they decided to have me do some outpatient. The outpatient never took off. I made it 2 months into my outpatient at the facility that I was at, and I had a dirty urine. On the spot that same day, they had me go to inpatient treatment. And at that facility, I made it 70 some days due to poor choices, behavioral issues, thought processes. I was discharged from the program and sent back to jail. After being in jail for maybe 2 weeks, I went to another program. And while in that program, some of the same behaviors were still a thing. My thought processes, my choices. Again, things that I wouldn't like to hear from other people would drive me to be upset or to act out or to go against and resist what was being told to me. And because I like to have control in my life, I would not listen to those people. And after a certain amount of time, I ran from that facility, around 70 some days. So at this point, 2 years ago, I had 140 some days in a treatment inpatient facility throughout two different programs. And while after leaving the second program, I was out on the streets for maybe 3 weeks. I end up running into the cops. I get arrested for a probation violation, and I'm in jail again. I don't know if it was 5 days, 10 days, but they're saying, "Hey, he's got a problem." And another treatment center comes to assess me, Shawnee Counseling Center. And I remember being at the window thinking to myself, "Oh man, here we go again. What's this place gonna be like? How am I gonna fit in? How am I gonna like it there?" Today those worries aren't a thing. That I wish other people could see and feel the connection here that this program offers. The links that the staff will go to for you within reason. It's amazing. They're making a difference, not just in our lives, but in our community. I think I've got 57 days, 58. Oh, that's a no-brainer. Individualized care. Being asked if you need something specific, this, or that sounds mundane. When you have a court liaison or a residential advisor or a transporter or even a counselor walk up to you and ask you, what do you need? Do you need anything? What can we do for you? The requests that you can make always depend on you or what you're wanting at the time. But for a large part of it, you can get what you are needing and wanting from this place. The ways that they've helped people. I was in search for a laptop. I needed a laptop for school. I start classes next week. And 10 days ago, I was telling my case manager that I needed a laptop for school. And I've got a scholarship, and I've to sum it up, within a 2-day period, I was given a laptop from an anonymous resource that I can use for school, and it's a nice laptop. People believe in me, and the company here, they work. It's definitely a resource for life. If you're listening to this or you're watching this and you're struggling with addiction, just know that somebody, probably here at Shawnee Counseling Center, cares about you and believes in you.